To calculate the average age in the class, we need to find the sum of all of the ages and then divide this by the total number of students. Now, if we have X students who are 10 years old, then the sum of the ages of all of the 10-year-olds will be 10x. Similarly, if we have Y students who are 11 years old, then the sum of the ages of the 11-year-olds will be 11Y. Now, if we have X students who are 10 years old and Y students who are 11 years old, then the total number of students will be X plus Y. So we see our answer is E. Alright, let's begin by taking a closer look at this set of values. These 10 values represent the number of pets owned by the 10 employees. Now at the moment, the median value of this set is between 1 and 2. The median is 1.5. Now to this set, we're going to add an additional number, that number being the number of pets owned by the office manager. At that point, we will have 11 numbers, and the new median will be either 1 or 2. Now, since the new mean is equal to the new median, our new mean will be either 1 or 2 as well. Now, what happens if the new mean of our 11 numbers is equal to 1? Well, by the following rule, we know that the sum of those 11 values must be 11 times 1, or 11. Similarly, if our new mean is equal to 2, then the sum of our 11 values will be 11 times 2, or 22. Now at the moment, the sum of our 10 values is equal to 16. So this tells us that the new mean cannot equal 1. If the new mean equals 1, then the sum of all 11 values equals 11. If our current sum is 16, that would mean that the office manager has a negative number of pets, and this cannot be true. So we now know that the new mean will equal 2. So if the new mean equals 2, the sum of all 11 values must equal 22. So the office manager must have 6 pets, since 16 plus 6 gives us 22. So our answer here then is D. For most questions involving standard deviation, we can apply the informal definition shown here. It says that the standard deviation of a given set is approximately equal to the average distance that each of our data values is away from the mean. So for our question, we can say that on the average, the numbers in set X are about 4.6 units away from the mean of 10. Now let's examine answer choice A. Here we can see that negative 100 and negative 100 are both 110 units away from our mean of 10. As such, these two numbers would increase our standard deviation if we added them to set X. Conversely, 10 and 10 are both 0 units away from our mean of 10. So as such, these two numbers will decrease our standard deviation of set X. So the answer here is E.
The average of two numbers is 4x. If one of the numbers is y, what's the value of the other numbers? So we're looking for this other number. We're going to need a variable for this number. Notice x and y are already used in the problem, so it would be a spectacularly bad choice to use the variable x for this number also. It would get us completely confused. Very important, never be on automatic pilot and just always use x as the unknown in a question. You can use any letter of the alphabet, so be thoughtful about what letter you use when you pick a variable. Here, all I need is something that's going to be different from x and y. It's a number. I'm going to call it capital N. Make it a capital letter. Very clear that it's different from the two variables given in the problem. We are looking for capital N. So the average of two numbers, we're averaging y and capital N. So y plus capital N over 2. And the average of these two numbers, when we add them up and divide by 2, we get an average of 4x. Multiply both sides by 2, y plus n equals 8x. And then subtract y, n equals 8x minus y. We're looking for this number. This is the other number, and this is answer choice E.
To begin, we are told that the average of our four numbers is 75. So using this rule, we know that the sum of those four numbers will be 4 times 75, which is 300. Now our strategy will be to write all four numbers in ascending order. We already know that 90 is our largest number, and we also know that the sum of those four numbers is 300. Our task here is to minimize the value of the smallest number. We do this by maximizing the values of the other three numbers. So, since 90 is our largest number, the next largest number will be 89, since no two numbers can be equal. Similarly, it follows that the third number will be 88. Now we know that the sum of all four numbers must be 300. We also know that the sum of these three numbers is 267. So our last number must be 33. So our answer is E. To begin, we're told that the average of our five numbers is 6. So if we apply the following rule, we know that the sum of our five numbers must be 5 times 6, or 30. Now our goal here is to maximize the range of these five values. To do this, we need to minimize the values of A, B, C, and D, and then maximize the value of E. So, the smallest possible value for A will be 1. Since our integers are all different, then the smallest possible value of B will be 2, and C will be 3. Now we're told that D minus B must equal 3, so the smallest possible value of D will be 5. Now since our numbers must add to 30, we know now that E must equal 19. This gives us the greatest possible range. We see now that our range is 19 minus 1, which is 18, so our answer is C. In the question, we are told that the average of B and C is 5. Using this rule, we know that the sum of B and C will equal 2 times 5, or 10. Similarly, we're told that the average of C and D is 10. So by applying the same rule, we know that the sum of C and D will equal 2 times 10, or 20. Now the question asks us to determine the value of B minus D. Notice what happens if we subtract the red equation from the blue equation. Our C's are eliminated, leaving us with B minus D on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side we get 10 minus 20, which is equal to negative 10. So we can see our answer is C.
In the set above, n is some positive integer. Which of the following would be, so for some value of n, a possible median of the set, indicate all values? So let's get rid of everything else, because we're going to need some room to think about this. So we'll get rid of all these values, just leave the list. All right, well if n is a low number, say n equals 7, well then the middle numbers are going to be 13 and 15. There are 6 numbers on this list, so the median is going to be the average of the two middle numbers. The average of 13 and 15 is 14. So 14 is certainly a possible median. And in fact, we could go all the way up to n equals 13. We'd still be getting a median of 14. What if n equals 14? Well, then the list would be 11, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19. 14 and 15 would be the two middle numbers. The average of 14 and 15 is 14.5. All right, that's a possible median. What if n equals 15? Well, then the two middle numbers would be 15, and the median would be 15. What if n equals 16? Well, now it's interesting. Now these numbers are the three lowest numbers, and we have 15 and 16 are the two middle numbers. The average of 15 and 16 is 15.5. If n equals 17, then the two middle numbers, we get 11, 13, 15, 17. 15 and 17 are the two middle numbers. Their average is 16. Then if n equals 18, well then 15 and we get 11, 13, 15, 18, 18, 19. The two middle numbers are the 15 and the 18. The average of 15 and 18 are 16.5. But then if n got any bigger, then it would just leave that 18 behind. N could be like 27 or something. The two middle numbers would still be the 15 and the 18, and their average would still be 16.5. And so these are all the possible medians from 14 to 16.5. From 14 up to 16.5. B, C, D, E, F, and G.
We're told that list A consists of the numbers 6, K, 3, M, and 7, and list B consists of the numbers M, K, and 4. And we want to know if the average of the 5 numbers in list A is 53 over 5, what is the average of the 3 numbers in list B? And we want our answer as a fraction, so numeric entry, not multiple choice. Okay, let's get to work. So what is the average of the 5 numbers in list A? Well, that's going to be 6 plus K plus 3 plus M plus 7, all divided by 5. And we're told that this average equals 53 over 5. Oh, well, if all this over 5 equals 53 over 5, it must be the case that all this is 53, right? We can basically just get rid of these 5s here. Multiply both sides by 5 if we want to be technical. Okay, so we can say that 6 plus K plus 3 plus M plus 7 equals 53. We want to know the average of the 3 numbers in list B. Well, that's M, K, and 4, and I have M and K right here. So let's clean this up a little bit. 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 7 is 16, so I got 16 plus K plus M equals 53, right? And then if I want K plus M by themselves, then I'll subtract 16 from both sides. Subtract 16 from that. What do I get? I get 37, right? So I get K plus M equals 37. There it is. And now I want to know the average of M, K, and 4. Well, the average of M, K, and 4 is M plus K plus 4 divided by 3. And I already know what M plus K is. I figured it out over here. M plus K is 37. So that's 37 plus 4 over 3, which means that the average is 41 over 3. And that is my answer.